In 2018, UN Habitat revealed that the world generated 2.4 billion tonnes of municipal solid waste. Around 45% of this was mismanaged. That's over 1 billion tonnes of waste just dumped. In Africa, the problem is even more serious. Over 80% of municipal solid waste generated in sub-Saharan Africa is mismanaged. The negative impact of this is hugely significant. Poor public health, poor farming yields. Local and national economies are being affected. Climate change is being accelerated, as are the depletion of natural resources. Lives are even being lost. Proper solid waste management is urgently needed and establishing, and managing controlled sanitary landfills is one of the most crucial parts of this process. It's a process that starts right here, with this online course which will help you understand what controlled landfills are, their design, their construction, their operation, and how to implement them. There's not a moment to lose, so let's get started. Let's start with the obvious negative effects of poor landfill management. When waste isn't managed well, it takes up valuable land. This is land that could be used for farming, housing, businesses, or even parks. Instead, we get massive, ugly dumps that ruin the landscape and reduce the overall quality for nearby residents. It's an eyesore, and honestly, it stinks. Literally. That smell? That's decomposing organic waste, releasing all kinds of gases. And it's not just bad for your nose, it's bad for your health. Imagine living near that every single day. Then there's the water pollution. When it rains, toxic liquids from waste called leachate seep into the ground and run off into rivers, lakes, and other water bodies. And guess what? That's the same water people drink and use for farming. Soil gets contaminated too. Some of this waste has dangerous chemicals, heavy metals, plastics, things that just don't break down. Over time, the land just becomes useless for farming. Imagine planting crops in poisoned soil. Would you eat that food? And let's not forget the pests, rats, flies, mosquitoes. They love open dumps and they bring diseases. That means that more sicknesses, more hospital visits, more money spent on healthcare. Oh, and sometimes these dumps catch fire. Those fires release toxic smoke, carbon monoxide, dioxins, all kinds of poisons we breathe in. There's also the issue that landfills are releasing massive amounts of greenhouse gases, like methane and carbon dioxide. These gases are major drivers of global warming and climate change, which is one of the biggest challenges of our time. If we don't take action, the problem will only get worse. The biggest problem at poorly managed landfills come from two things: harmful gases and toxic liquid runoff, known as leachate. These are created when waste isn't handled properly and lead to serious environmental health risks. The key role of a well-managed landfill is to minimize those dangers as much as possible. Poor landfill management can lead to devastating disasters. One of the worst cases happened in 2017 at the main landfill in Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa. Years of poor waste management of open dumping without proper compaction caused a massive waste landslide, worsened by methane gas explosions. Tragically, around 130 people, mostly waste pickers living at the site, were buried alive. And with climate change bringing more extreme weather, heavy rains likely made that situation even worse. Sadly, this isn't an isolated incident. In 2024, Kampala experienced a similar landfill collapse, killing more than 21 people. These types of disasters are happening more often. And unless we take action, more lives will be lost to preventable tragedies like these. So, the first question is, where do we start? The answer is looking at existing landfill sites, seeing how they're being operated. What's good? What's bad? What's missing? By doing this, you can identify what needs to be done, but that assessment needs to be done in a systematic way, and thankfully, we have a tool to help us. The Waste-Wise Cities tool was developed by the UN Habitat as a methodology of monitoring the SDG indicator 11.6.1 and other waste-related SDG targets. It assesses a city's overall performance of solid waste management and the control level of waste management facilities, up to and including final disposal. You can access the Waste-Wise Cities tool by clicking the link you'll find below. It's an exceptionally useful tool when considering the design of municipal solid waste management systems, not least of which being able to categorize the level of control that exists at the existing landfills using something called the ladder of control. There are 5 levels of landfill control. 1. No control. 2. Limited control. 3. Basic control. 4. Improved control. And 5. Full control. The Waste-Wise Cities tool step-by-step guide provides you with a decision-making tree to determine the control level of the landfills. You should note that the emphasis is on operational control rather than engineering or design. This is an important point which I'm going to come back to in a moment, but first, let's take a look at 3 levels of control in a little more detail. Basic, improved, and full control. The first step in transforming an uncontrolled landfill is reaching the basic control level. So, what do you expect to see here? Let's use an example from the Caribbean, the Diamond landfill in St. Vincent. We can see a clear boundary to the site and the filling space is clearly defined. The slopes are stabilised, well managed, and at an angle that minimises the risk of landslides. Waste compaction is taking place, and we can see that material is also being covered. Drainage is maintained around the site. There's even a simple leachate pond to catch off the toxic runoff. There's a single point of access, which is supervised, and a weighbridge. And whilst it's difficult to see here, the staff are well cared for with personal protective equipment, toilet and washing facilities. The next category is improved landfill. Here we expect to see everything at the site with basic control, but with some important additions. Our example site is in Mbabane in Eswatini. As before, the site is properly fenced with one controlled point of access. There's the weighbridge. Stable slopes and waste compaction are evident. And take a look at the leachate pond. It's properly lined, and we can see clear evidence of diligent design having been applied. But the key difference here is gas collection. This means that the gas naturally created is captured and can be safely dealt with rather than just allowed to go into the atmosphere. And I think you'll agree that overall, the site looks better. It's cleaner, more tidy. It looks like it's properly managed. And finally, let's take a look at a landfill site that has full control status. And for this, we head to Albania in southern Europe to the Malik site. Straight away, we can see that this is a properly thought out, well-engineered landfill site. But this alone doesn't necessarily mean full control status applies. We need to take a look for clear evidence of a number of things. Gas flares, for example, the level of facilities that exist for environmental health and safety, fully trained staff, daily covering of waste, accurate recording of waste by weight and type, and clear plans in place for its operation and what will happen to the site after it closes, whether it will become parkland, developed on, or other use. Now, you may well be thinking that's all very well showing you this fancy landfill in Europe, and consider that such a facility is impossible to conceive in your city. But it is conceivable. Remember what I said a moment ago? That most of what determines a site as being full control is rooted in operational control? Even the most expensive and best designed and constructed sanitary landfill will become an uncontrolled dump site if its daily operations and aftercare do not have sufficient financial, technical, or skilled human resources. A controlled landfill does not necessitate the construction of a brand new state-of-the-art landfill site. Some of the best controlled landfills have developed gradually from dump sites with incremental improvements made by the operator, improving little by little over the years. So having an advanced weighbridge is all very nice, but a small portable set of vehicle scales like this are equally good. A lavish staff facility would be great, but simply a working lavatory and the means for staff to wash their hands and have a safe place to eat their lunch will equally be welcome and as effective. And stopping the burning of waste is a simple case of not starting the fires in the first place and extinguishing those that have. So yes, it's certainly conceivable. It's not the point to be delighted or disappointed by finding out the current control level of your landfill. All you're looking to do is understand the present status of your landfill management so you can start working to improve the site, step by step with a strong and long-term commitment. That's Module 1 done. Don't forget to take the quiz and we'll see you again in Module 2.